Well, hello, hello, hello. I've got a pretty quick show today. I think I can get this done without taking too much of your time. Check this out. Look what we have right here. The beast is showing up on the internet. Can you believe that? On the intranet, I should say, not internet. On the inside the network, there it is. There's the Linux machine, the beast. We can browse it. It shows up. If we click it, oh, look at all of our lovely things in here. We got the videos, the beast docs, beast videos. We got the RAID there showing up. Oh, it's beautiful. I'm literally chuffed that we got this working. Now, the solution wasn't hard. The hard part was finding the answer. I searched and searched and searched over a period of a long time, multiple weeks, because you'd work on it a while and then you'd fail, then you'd have to reconfigure the system so you could do your backups, that kind of stuff, and then back and forth. And the information for this Linux stuff is a little harder to find out there. It's not that anybody is, nobody's stupid. It's just, where do you get your information from when there's just nothing there? You have to create it out of thin air? No, you have to just rely on someone else, which is why I do these videos, because I'm a newbie. I'm not stupid. I don't think you're stupid either, but there's just stuff that, if it's hard to find the answer, you can get really discouraged, and I don't like that. But anyway, we got this to work, and I'll tell you how we did it. All right, let's start with some of the basic ideas. That we got the network, it didn't want to work. We had to add in Samba, the Samba part of it, to do the server, and that worked, and it was just previous video. See previous video. But we couldn't get it to show up, and we looked all over, and a lot of the information is dated, and eventually I found one thing. In the last video I told you I couldn't get wsdd to work. Couldn't get it to work, and it was different information. You got to add this, open your port and do this broadcast address and all of this stuff in there, and it's like, I don't have to shut firewalls and stuff off and cut holes in ports for Microsoft to do it, and it's using the same server, messaging block type of technology. Why do I have to do it for the Linux? Something's not right. I'm not getting this right. But anyway, turns out I found one little comment, one place, and only one place, that said, oh, just run this program called, do a sudo, to open your terminal and do a sudo, right? Because you have to be a super user to do something as root to put this in and change the system. Sudo apt install. You have to open a terminal, obviously, and log in as root with either a sudo, su, and then log in, or do a sudo apt install wsdd-server. And it says if you do that one command, that will load in both the server and client side. Apparently, I'm guessing I was only logging in and loading up the client side, and I wasn't having trouble with my Linux machine seeing the Windows. I was having trouble with the Windows seeing the Linux, and I still could connect, so SMB was working, but I couldn't see it on the network like we see it right here. The beautiful beast is showing up, and we can look into it. We don't have to know where stuff's at. Now, maybe I don't like that in the future. I don't know, but we got it working today, and I'll give you that text right up on the screen. You can see to do that. Now remember that with APT, that works with the Debian or the Ubuntu, that other versions, Arch or some other version of Linux that I don't know anything about. It may do a different thing. It may use a Git. It may use, I don't know what they use. It just may be something different. I'm only experiencing this Linux Mint system that I'm playing with. And we're making progress, and I hope these videos are helping you. Now on to the next thing.
If you like this content, please go to calldeltosell.com, find the tab that says on YouTube, click it, and it'll open up a page of QR codes. There you can use a smartphone to scan and get to the YouTube page, or you can just mouse over and click it on a PC. There you'll be able to subscribe to this little button over here and click the notification bell.
Alrighty, this is part 2. This is just on the logic of debugging or troubleshooting, if you will. Long story made short, when we built this computer I just showed you, the beast, the new file system, the custom loop, whatever you want to call it, we used all new parts except for, you know, some cables, and I think I recycled a camera that I took off downstairs. And at one point in time I was working on the system, and I have a mouse, I have these cables pulled out. I like to color code my cables and, you know, put markers and stuff like that, even though other people may say, well, it violates my pure white or my pure black, you know, scheme or whatever. I don't care, right? I just want to be able to figure out what's going on. So I have my little mouse, and it's a wireless mouse, but I use it tied with a tail. So it's USB'd in, and I don't have to worry about the batteries going down or anything like that. And I had moved one cable over, and I have a cable that I would use, you know, for the telephone for pulling media off of the phone. Well, that would connect or whatever, and I used that one cable to do a mouse, and the mouse was like barking at me, and it was making weird noises when you wiggled it, like it had a bad connection. So I swapped cables, and I put the other cable that was the mouse was giving me trouble over for the media to pull off the phone. Not a big deal. And the phone, I don't do a lot of pulling stills off now out of that studio up there, and everything was fine. And then I noticed that I had, as you move stuff around from time to time, I had a camera. And the camera, it was a known good camera, but all of a sudden it was giving me trouble. And so I wiggle things around and move them and get to a situation where everything's working and it's out of sight, out of mind. The other day, while working with the Linux, I plugged said telephone with some video. I want to pull one still picture off of it for the video. It wouldn't. It dinged like it connected, like it's been plugged in, and knew it was getting, you know, battery charge type thing, but it wouldn't connect. And I thought, crap, this Linux stuff is not going to work. This Linux Mint's not going to work if I have to switch boot to pull Windows in so I can get my media off my phone. So I gave it a try, and it didn't. And when I rebooted to Windows, I plugged the same phone in the same wire in the same computer, and Windows made the same sound, ding. No joy, no connection. It knew it had something plugged in, but it wasn't working. So then I took a shorter, I have this little, like a 1.5 feet, and I used a different port on the machine, plugged it in on the Windows, and the media showed up, and everything was joyful again. So I rebooted into Linux, and I tried it with the phone on the Linux on that short cable on a different port, and it showed joy as well. Everything was beautiful and wonderful again. You know, it's just like, okay, there's a problem back there. So then I started with that same cable. And on the back of this device that you see here, this is just a 4-port thing, right, for USB. Takes 2 doubles into your motherboard, your birthing person board, because you can't say mother in your birthing person board, right? And I could rotate it. It would work. It would work. It wouldn't work, it would work again, and so I figured out I got a bad part. It's a new part, but apparently it's a bad part. And with most of your diagnosis is going to be the secret is to pay attention and to notice what's going on, because like I said, it wasn't a full-time problem for me because I simply had plenty of other ports back there to use, and when I would move it, the suspect around, and it would start working again. Hey, not a problem. So anyway, yeah, a little Amazon part looks right there. It's not an account. That didn't work. And there's only 4 wires in this, USB anyway. How can it know that it's there, all, plugged into the system but not connect for the data? I don't know, but that was the problem. So I ordered 2 new ones. Amazon, we fixed it. That's it. Just keep your eyes open, and if it takes you a little bit longer to find something sometime, don't worry about it. The secret's finding it, figuring it out, moving forward, and just not, like Lot's wife, her sin was she looked back when she was told not to. Never look back, only look forward. See you guys. Bye.